Okay, here we go for day 3, e-learning for Algebra 1-2a. We got solving quadratics by factoring. Today we're going to look at the zero product property to solve these. We've actually done all the factoring before. We had a factor test last week. So this first question is just talking about the zero product property, which means if anything, 0 times anything is always going to be 0. So if whatever is right here, if this equals 0, 0 times that, we'll turn that into a 0. Same principle here. If this one is 0 multiplied by anything, it's still going to be 0 there. So we're not going to have to do this full work every time, but I want to show you why this works. So if x plus 5 is equal to 0, we can solve for x by subtracting 5, and we end up with x equals negative 5. So that is one of our answers. We're going to have two answers here today. As you may remember yesterday, we talked a little bit about the parabola, and I'll show you after we do this one. For the second part, same deal. We're going to have x minus 7 is equal to 0, and we can add 7 to both sides. We end up with x equals positive 7. So we're going to have two solutions, just like yesterday we had the plus and minus stuff. Just to show you a quick graph here, if we've got this is negative 5 and this is 7, okay, if those are our two solutions, the parabola is going to run like this, where we have these two solutions. All right, now, do you have to show this work every time? I don't require it, but it's a good idea. You may notice that what's going to happen is whatever this sign is, your solution is going to be the opposite sign. Okay, but you don't want to skip through this too fast. You want to make sure that you have a good understanding of what's going on there. So there is the main idea of what we're doing with this stuff. So let's go ahead and move on to number 2. Okay, you may notice that Maximus Decimus Meridius joined the party over there. He is one of my favorites from Gladiator, so I don't know if you guys have had a chance to watch that one in the past. Who knows? Good movie. But here we go. Number 2. For this one, all right, we got x squared minus 11x plus 10 equals 0. All right, so we have factored this part before. The equal to 0 part is what's new. We need it to be equal to 0 to solve it for factoring. We can't have the 10 over there or anything else. We have to have it equal to 0. So we go back. I know you guys are going to be excited about this. We've got a times c. So we're looking at factors of positive 10 again. So we got 1 and 10, 2 and 5. Right? Now, which one works for what we need is going to be, we need the one that combines to 11. Now, because it's negative, these will both be negative. And so we factor it into x minus 1 times x minus 10 equal to 0. Now, this is where example number 1, I showed you we can set this equal to 0. When we do that, x minus 1 equal to 0. And then x minus 10 equal to 0. Okay, so hopefully the factoring part is a good review. Now this part that's new, the zero product property part, if this is 0, if I take this 1 right here, if I plug in 1 minus 1, that is 0, and 0 times anything gives me that, so it works. Same idea here, we're going to add 10, so we get x equals 10. So here's my two solutions, because if I took 10 minus the 10 is 0, and 0 times anything over here, whatever it is, x minus 1 or whatever, 0 times that is going to be 0 as well. All right? So there you go. That's going to be your answer for number 2. Got it? All right, let's keep moving here, and let's go to number 3. So we're just going to, essentially, we're going to factor these, and then like what we've done the first 2 times. So as long as you can factor, you can really do most of this as long as we can figure out that last step. All right, for our next one, number 3, we got y squared minus 8y, this time equal to 20. All right, so this time it's not equal to 0. So we have to move the 20 so that it is equal to 0. So we're going to subtract 20 before we do anything else. Now this will be 0. However, you can't combine these. These are not like terms. So we go y squared minus 8y minus 20 is equal to 0, right? And that's what we're going to have there. Now, once we get here, we're back to multiply a times c, factors of negative 20. I got 1 and 20, 2 and 10, 3 doesn't work, 4 and 5. So we got to decide which one will combine to this by subtraction. That's going to be the 2 and the 10. Now it's negative 8, so the larger one is going to be the negative. Now sometimes I have students who try to skip from here to the answer. Don't do that. I would write it out. We got y plus 2 times y minus 10 equals 0. Okay? And then from there, what will make this 0? Now you can write it out again. I'm going to go ahead and write the solutions to save time. Whatever this sign is, it's going to be the opposite to make it 0. So negative 2 here, or what will make that 0 is positive 10. So negative 2 or 10 is our solution. So on the parabola, and I've shown this a couple times out of space up there, but the parabola would cross at negative 2 and at positive 10. All right? So there is number 3. I'm going to keep going here and try to keep this video time-wise down. Remember, you can pause it at any time. You can always shoot me an email through Canvas. I want to help you out. I'll be around, and we're not going anywhere right now. So yeah, I will be checking to make sure if there's anything you need, please let me know. Okay? All right, so number 4, this time we've got 0 equal to m squared plus m, minus 30. All right, so this time it is equal to 0. Does it matter that it's on the other side, the left side? No, it doesn't matter. We're still going to do a times c. This a is really a 1. So we get negative 30. You got 1 and 30, 2, 15, 3 and 10, 4 doesn't work, 5 and 6. So we have to decide which one combines to this is really a 1. It's going to be the 5 and the 6. Since it's positive in this column. This column would be all the negatives, so we want that. So 0 equals m minus 5 times m plus 6. And this is what we have. So that is the factored form. Now, our solutions, what will make that 0 is positive 5. What will make this one 0 is the opposite sign, negative 6. And again, I advise don't try to skip from here to the answer because it's going to get mixed up. Write it out and then write this out. Okay? Any questions? Like I said, make sure to email. All right? Last one. Here we go. Number 5. This one is actually is shorter. You don't have to do a times c on number 5. You're going to see here in a second. So on number 5, this one goes 5n squared plus 15n equals 0. All right. Now this time, we don't want to do a times c because there actually isn't a c. Notice that it's this. It looks similar to solve by square roots, but here we've got a variable. So when there is a variable, technically what we have is this is a and this is b. When c is missing, we can't do solve by square roots. All right, so we look to actually factor by GCF, going back to factor by grouping and all the stuff we did last chapter. So the 5 they have in common. They also have 1n in common. So when I divide this by 5n everywhere, that one I get 1n plus 5 and 15 is 3. And the n's cancel out, so equals 0. So my solutions this time, just to show this all out, 5n equal to 0, and n plus 3 equal to 0. Here if I divide the 5, I just get n, one answer could be 0, or this answer, if I subtract the 3, I get n equals negative 3. So there are my two solutions. We can sometimes factor by GCF. That shortens things up a little bit. You don't have to do a times c because there's not a c. You can still set this one. This one technically we can make as one group. We set that equal to 0. All right? Just a couple things before I wrap it up here. Make sure on the homeworks, noticing some people taking, if you take 1 to 2 minutes to get it done, that's not, I assume you're just clicking through things. So I don't want to have to obviously take off any homework or attendance points on that, but I might be emailing you if I see that pattern happening on all the homework. You do get 3 chances, so hopefully you're taking notes and writing it down. The main thing is that we're learning from this, okay? We're doing as much as we can here with the situation we're in, and I hope you guys are hanging in there at home. As far as anything else goes, just keep checking here on Canvas, and we'll keep you updated. So thank you guys for your time. Have a good night.